Here is the thing nobody tells you when you are shopping for a student tablet. The Apple iPad is not automatically the right answer. Not even close. There is a tablet on this list that costs less than $240, already has the pen in the box, runs a display that covers 96% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, and ships with 4 years of security support baked in. The iPad cannot match that at this price, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why. We are counting down 5 tablets, from solid to exceptional. Every one of them is worth knowing about, but only one of them is genuinely optimized for what students actually do: handwritten notes, long study sessions, lectures, research, and getting through the day without hunting for a charger. Stay until the end, because the number one pick is not what most people expect. And the reason it beats everything else here is more specific than just good value. Before we get into the rankings, a quick note on how this list was built. These are not random picks. Every tablet here was evaluated against what student life actually looks like. Back-to-back classes, library sessions, cramped dorm desks, note-taking, annotating PDFs, watching lecture recordings, and the occasional late-night YouTube spiral. The criteria are display quality, battery endurance, pen support, software longevity, real-world performance, and honest price to value. No filler specs, no hype, no brand loyalty. And every product name has been verified against the official list, because if we are going to compare these side by side, the basics have to be right. Let's also get one thing out of the way up front. Accessories are not free. On some of these tablets, the pen and keyboard come in the box. On others, you are paying extra. That gap matters when you are budgeting on a student income. I will flag the total cost of ownership wherever it is relevant, not just the sticker price. There are links in the description below with the best current deals I could track down. Now, let's get into it. Number 5 is the Apple iPad 11-inch A16. And yes, it earns its spot on this list, just not at the top of it. Starting at $349, this is Apple's entry-level iPad for 2025. It runs the A16 chip, which is a variant of the same chip family found in recent iPhone models, a 5-core CPU with a 4-core GPU, built on a 4-nanometer process. In practical terms, every app opens instantly. Multitasking between a browser, a Notes app, and a PDF is effortless, and you will not hit a performance wall doing anything a student normally does. Raw power at this price range is simply not a problem here. The 11-inch Liquid Retina display runs at 264 pixels per inch with True Tone, which adjusts the color temperature based on the lighting around you. For long reading sessions, that makes a noticeable difference. Brightness is rated at 500 nits, which holds up in most indoor environments. And the aluminum build is exactly what you would expect from Apple. Solid, clean, and premium feeling in the hand. The app ecosystem is a real argument. iPad OS apps are more consistently optimized for tablet use than most Android equivalents. Apple Pencil support is there, the Magic Keyboard Folio works with it, and Apple's track record on software support means this device will keep receiving updates for years, which matters for resale value and long-term reliability. Now here is where it gets complicated. The display runs at 60 Hz. If you have ever used a 120 Hz screen, going back to 60 Hz feels noticeably slower. Every scroll, every swipe, just slightly behind. That is a real concession at this price point. The display is also non-laminated, meaning there is a small physical gap between the glass and the panel underneath. You will feel the parallax when writing with a stylus. Not a deal breaker for most tasks, but writers and annotators will notice. And then there is the accessories gap. The Apple Pencil and a keyboard cover are not included. Depending on which versions you buy, that is an extra $150 to $250 on top of the $349 base price. By the time you are fully equipped, you are spending considerably more than the other tablets on this list, some of which ship with the pen already in the box. The iPad earns its place here because of the ecosystem and the long-term reliability. But if you are starting fresh and want the most tablet for your money, the next 4 are going to make this one look expensive. Number 4 is the Xiaomi Redmi Pad 2 Pro, and the headline stat here is the battery. 12,000 milliamp hours. While most tablets in this price range are running around 8,000 milliamp hours, this one has 50% more capacity. In real-world terms, that translates to 2 full days of moderate use without touching a charger. For a student moving between morning lectures, a library session, a coffee shop study block, and an evening cram, that endurance is genuinely useful in a way that sounds boring until the day you need it. The display is 12.1 inches at 2.5K resolution, running at 120 Hz with Dolby Vision support. Colors are calibrated and accurate. Xiaomi also offers a matte glass version of this tablet, which reduces glare significantly. If you regularly study near windows or under the kind of harsh fluorescent lighting that exists in most classrooms, that anti-glare surface is more than cosmetic. It actually affects how comfortable the display is to use for long stretches. Under the hood, the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 is a 4-nanometer chip that handles multitasking, heavy browser sessions, and light creative work cleanly. Pair it with up to 8 GB of RAM, and the experience stays smooth across what students actually do. The quad speakers with Dolby Atmos support are genuinely good. Online lectures and YouTube tutorials come through clear and full without needing headphones in most situations. Magnetic stylus support is there, as is an optional keyboard, so you can build a fuller setup around it. One feature worth knowing: the Redmi Pad 2 Pro supports 27-watt reverse-wired charging. That means when your phone is about to die between classes, this tablet can charge it. That is a small thing until you are halfway through a campus and your navigation app starts throttling. There are real downsides. The USB port is USB 2.0, which means file transfers are slow compared to USB-C 3.x devices. That massive battery also takes time to refill. 33 watts wired charging is decent, but not the fastest here. And if you are in the US, it is worth checking regional pricing and warranty coverage before buying, since availability varies and pricing can differ from the global MSRP. But if your top priority is a large, sharp screen and a battery that simply does not run out, nothing on this list comes close to the Redmi Pad 2 Pro for raw endurance. Still, there is a tablet coming up that costs less, ships with the pen already included, and has been pulling more attention from students than anything else in this category. We are getting there. Number 3 is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite, and the story here starts with a single line on the spec sheet: the S Pen is in the box. That sounds obvious, but in the mid-range tablet market, it is actually rare. Most tablets at this price tier either do not support a stylus at all or sell the pen as a separate accessory. The Galaxy Tab S10 Lite ships with it included, and that changes the calculus entirely for a student who wants to handwrite notes from day one. What makes the S Pen integration more than just a bundled accessory is what happens when you connect it to Samsung Notes. The note-taking suite has features built specifically for students. Math Solver can work through equations directly from your handwritten notes. Handwriting. Help cleans up messy handwriting into readable text without requiring you to retype anything. PDF annotation, subject organized notes, diagram sketching — it is all there out of the box without downloading a single third-party app. For a student sitting in a lecture hall trying to keep up, that combination of hardware and software working together from the moment you open the box is a real advantage. The display is 10.9 inches running at 90 Hz, smaller than the Redmi Pad 2 Pro and some of the other tablets on this list, but that size actually works in its favor. It is easier to hold in portrait mode for extended writing, lighter to carry, and the form factor naturally suits note-taking in a way that a 12-inch slate does not always replicate. Samsung's Vision Booster pushes brightness to up to 600 nits, so reading in bright environments is comfortable. The Exynos 1380 processor handles everything a student normally throws at it. Split screen between a lecture video and your notes, multiple browser tabs, research sessions. It is not the fastest chip on this list, but it does not need to be. The 8,000 mAh battery gets you through a full day reliably. The microSD slot lets you expand storage cheaply, which matters when you are storing PDFs, lecture recordings, and the streaming content that makes long commutes bearable. Samsung's software commitment is the other headline. The Galaxy Tab S10 Lite is backed by 7 years of OS and security updates. If you are buying this in 2025 or 2026, That coverage stretches well past graduation. For a student who wants to buy once and not worry about software obsolescence, that commitment is one of the strongest in the Android tablet market. One clarification worth making. Some viewers will point out that the older Galaxy Tab S9 is still available and sometimes priced lower, depending on the current deals. That is fair. But the Tab S10 Lite is the current generation with current support. And when long-term software coverage is part of the value equation, that matters for the math. The Tab S10 Lite earns its position here, but the next two flip the script in ways you may not expect, starting with a tablet that rethinks something as basic as the shape of the screen. Number 2 is the OnePlus Pad Go 2, and the most interesting thing about it is not the processor or the battery, it is the shape. Most tablets run a 16:10 widescreen ratio. The OnePlus Pad Go 2 runs a 7:5 ratio, what OnePlus calls read fit, which is notably closer to the proportions of an A4 sheet of paper. Open a research paper, a PDF textbook, or a long-form document on it, and you see more of the page at once. Less scrolling, less zooming, more actual reading. If you spend hours working through documents, that aspect ratio is a quiet but real productivity advantage that wider tablets just cannot replicate. The display is 12.1 inches at 2800 by 1980 resolution, running at 120 Hz with Dolby Vision and up to 900 nits in high brightness mode. For an LCD panel, the contrast is exceptional. Colors are accurate. It holds up well in brighter environments, and the combination of high brightness and that near-square format makes it one of the better panels for extended reading sessions on this list. Performance comes from the MediaTek Dimensity 7300 Ultra, a 4nm chip with 8 GB of RAM. OnePlus's Open Canvas multitasking system lets you run multiple apps side by side in a way that actually works. Running a browser, a Notes app, and a PDF viewer simultaneously is manageable here. The 10,050 mAh battery is rated for up to 15 hours of video playback, with 33-watt charging and reverse-wired charging so you can top up a phone from the tablet when needed. Wi-Fi 6 helps on crowded campus networks, where weaker wireless implementations can bottleneck your connection. The OnePlus Pad Go 2 stylus, sold separately, supports 4,096 pressure levels, and the responsiveness is genuinely good for its class. The pen is not included in the base price, which is worth factoring in. In the US, this tablet sits closer to the mid-range price bracket. The 5G model with 256 GB of storage costs more and adds cellular connectivity, but the base Wi-Fi model is the one most relevant for this comparison. No charger is included in the box in some regions, so check what is in the package before you buy. It is a strong tablet with one of the best displays at this price range and a unique shape that gives it a real-world edge for document-heavy workflows. The reason it sits at number 2 rather than number 1 comes down to one specific factor, which you will see in about 30 seconds. Number 1 is the Lenovo Idea Tab Plus. It costs around $240 when purchased with the included Lenovo Tab Pen, and that pen, not sold separately, already in the box, supports 4,096 levels of pressure sensitivity with tilt support and palm rejection. That is the same sensitivity level you find in dedicated drawing tablets. For handwritten notes, annotating lecture slides, sketching diagrams, or working through problem sets by hand, it is more than capable, and you pay nothing extra for it. The display is 12.1 inches at 2.5K resolution, 2560 by 1600, running at 90 Hz and covering 96% of the DCI-P3 color gamut at up to 800 nits of peak brightness. That color accuracy means lecture slides, reference images, and annotated documents look the way they are supposed to. The display also carries TÜV Rheinland reflection-free certification on select versions, which means Lenovo engineered it to reduce glare, not just marketed it as a feature. For students who work near windows or outside, that matters. Performance is handled by the MediaTek Dimensity 6400 with 8 GB of RAM. This is a mid-range chip, not the fastest on this list, but it handles everything a student genuinely needs. Multiple browser tabs, note-taking apps, streaming, split screen between a video and a document. Run it in PC mode with an optional keyboard and mouse, And you get a setup that substitutes for a laptop in a meaningful way, not just on paper. The 10,200 mAh battery is rated for up to 13 hours of YouTube streaming. Real-world use puts you comfortably through a full day and into the evening, more than enough for back-to-back classes and a study session without ever opening a charging cable. And when you do charge, the 45-watt charging speed is the fastest on this list. A few hours from low to full is all it takes. Software longevity is the detail most buyers overlook. The Lenovo IDEA Tab Plus ships on Android 15 with 2 guaranteed OS upgrades, bringing it to Android 17, and 4 years of bi-monthly security patches through 2029. For a student buying in 2025 or 2026, that means this tablet stays current, secure, and supported well past graduation. That is a specific commitment from Lenovo, not a marketing approximation. Smart Connect is on board, which lets you move files wirelessly between the tablet and a compatible Lenovo laptop or Motorola phone without cables. Useful if you are already in that ecosystem. The optional Folio keyboard connects through physical pogo pins rather than Bluetooth, which means a stable, zero-latency connection every time. The honest negatives: the Dimensity 6400 is not going to impress anyone running benchmarks. Some pre-installed apps come loaded on the device, though most can be removed without much hassle. The screen can pick up glare in direct sunlight. An anti-glare screen protector is worth considering if you regularly study outdoors. What makes this the #1 pick on this list is not any single feature, it is the combination. A large 2.5K display, a full-featured pen already included, 45-watt fast charging, confirmed multi-year software support, and a price under $240. At that price, with that pen, that display, and that update commitment, nothing else on this list delivers the same complete package for student use. This is not trying to compete with the iPad Pro. It is trying to be the best student tablet under $240, and it is. So to recap the final order, at number 5, the Apple iPad 11-inch A16, the ecosystem pick, the reliable long-term choice, but the most expensive when you factor in accessories. At 4, the Xiaomi Redmi Pad 2 Pro, the battery endurance champion with a stunning 12.1-inch 120Hz display. At 3, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite, the S Pen in the box option with 7 years of software support and a note-taking suite that is hard to argue with. At 2, the OnePlus Pad Go 2, the document reading specialist with an exceptional display and a uniquely proportioned screen. And at number 1, the Lenovo IDEA Tab Plus, the complete package for students who want a real pen, a great screen, fast charging, and long-term software support without paying flagship prices. The right answer on this list depends on what you actually prioritize. If you are already deep in Apple's ecosystem, the iPad 11-inch A16 makes obvious sense. If raw battery life is what keeps you up at night before a long campus day, the Redmi Pad 2 Pro is hard to argue against. But if you are starting fresh, want a single device that handles classes, notes, and media without accessories hunting, and want it to still be getting security updates 4 years from now, the Lenovo IDEA Tab Plus is the one. If this breakdown helped you figure out what fits your situation, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel surface this content for other students in the same spot. And if you want to see more honest, no-hype tech comparisons, subscribing is the best way to catch the next one. Drop a comment with which tablet you're leaning toward, or which one you already own. I read them all. And if you want to see the tablet that actually steps in as a full iPad replacement, not just close, but genuinely competitive with Apple's ecosystem, the next video is already waiting. That one might change your perspective on what the Android side is capable of at this price range.